have collapsed.
I've had this in my closet for a long time. A little time capsule, something from back in the day. And what this is my old anime collection. Now we're going back now to about like the 1990s, early 90s. Now it seems like it's everywhere now. You can find it a lot of places, but back in the day it wasn't that case. What made me an anime fan was Robotech, which came on TV. Which, when I was a kid, in the U.S. it was aired as Robotech. And basically, there were two tiers of animation. There was American animation, or what we knew about, and then there was Japanese animation, which was a whole nother thing unto itself.
戻すのか戻さねえのか。
ちょっと借りるよ。用が済んだらしっかり返すさ。
用だと？
大したことじゃないけどね。うちらのスタジアムに居座ってるイシュタルの戦車ぶっ潰したいわけ。
So anyway, I'm going to try to bring out some of these old VHS tapes, and remember, video cassettes didn't have I never upgraded my anime to DVD, so I just kept it at this, so I'll just go through a few of them. Anyways, let's start with this one. So like I said, you're back in the day, you're big into Macross, and then all of a sudden Macross 2 shows up, and not as good as the original. So this was like hardcore, really, and I really appreciate that. This is like, if you're into Macross, if you like Mikimoto's artwork, it was still cool back then. And it's another U.S. renditions. And these guys, basically, if you're familiar with Robotech and you're familiar with Macross, especially. It was basically, there was called the Super Dimension Century, or Super Dimension series. So you had Super Dimension Fortress Macross, and then you had Super Dimension Cavalry Southern Cross, and you also had Super Dimension Century Orgus. Okay, this is part 2 of it. I've got here.
Planning to run the King of Fighters again this year, Geese? Don't let the corruption get too blatant.
Impossible to be a Neo Geo fan and not being into... Look at that. Fatal Fury. If I remember. Some of these things were really dirty. Now this is a pretty good movie. This was based on a manga. This is the Venus Wars. I still have the mangas in my... somewhere around here too. This is a pretty good film. This is the film version of the manga. This is a classic one too. Dominion Tank Police. Now this is Masamune Shiro. And let's see if we get closer to that. This is the guy who is responsible for like Appleseed. If you guys are familiar with artwork, if you guys are really hardcore, you remember the game on TurboGrafx called Lords of Thunder. That artwork is Masamune Shiro. This was like the science fiction cyberpunk god back in the day. Oh, I can't not show. Let's see if I got it in here still. I've got so much stuff. Here's one that Happy Console Gamer did a review on. Maddox 01. This is a... I mean, this was really cool. This is how... Man, what I liked about this old anime is just how gritty and just how cool it was. I can't even see it. But this guy, he basically gets mixed up with the military, and he's in this mech suit. Wow, look at that, man. This is old stuff. Awesome. This is the stuff I used to buy. I remember when I used to go to the mall, I'd borrow my old man's car, and say, hey, can I borrow the car? And then I'd go to the mall and I'd buy anime. Anime was just as important as video games to me back then. Let's see what else we got in here. What else we got in here? Record of Lodoss War. I used to have this whole series. Now, this is basically the pen and paper version, tabletop role-playing game, storyline, Japanese style. And if I remember right, they had a... this was actually... Record of Lodoss War is actually the Japanese version of Dungeons & Dragons, and that's exactly what this is. Awesome series. The original one. This is back in like the 90s. Awesome. What else we got here? There's too much, so I won't make a... Maybe I'll make a part 2 of the... But Zillion. Look at that. If you're a Master System fan and you're wondering where those characters came from Zillion, which was a anime in Japan. And it was all based on that light gun. And it's basically like it was JJ and Champ and Apple. And look at that, you can see right there, look at the tie-in with Sega, you see Opa Opa there. This is a series I used to have too. Oh, well, I'll show this too. Wings of Oniamis. Yeah, this is a film. This isn't just some ordinary animation. This was actually film, up there with like Akira, up there with all the best stuff that you'd see. This movie basically was about a guy's journey. It's like an alternate universe, and it's a planet's journey into space. I got so much stuff in here. I won't bore you guys too much with it. Now, this is my Macross the movie. This is as close as I ever got to owning the movie, and this is basically a Australian dub of the Japanese movie, and the quality in this was really bad. I bought this at a anime convention back in the 90s, and this is basically just like it's a cheap copy of the movie. The movie is awesome, but this is a cheap copy of it. But I kept it anyway because it's part of my memory. I'm telling you that this is like defining my kind of early otaku, his history. That's what it was all about. It was all about Macross, and that's what really made me love Japan, really. Oh, let's see what else we got in here. We got tons of stuff. I cannot see if I could find it in here. I know it's in here, but this was the show right here. I even had a T-shirt with Pris. This is Bubblegum Crisis, the first one, subtitled in English. I can't even tell you how great this is. Look at that mecha design. That is what Japanese animation was all about right there. Look at that. This is just like, to me, was even better than Western movies. Just look at that. It's so awesome. I mean, the storyline was just so cool. Mega Tokyo. And you got these girls that are kind of like... Basically, this storyline, and if you ever watch this, I recommend just watching it on YouTube. Watch Bubblegum Crisis 1 to 3. This is hardcore science fiction anime. Right here. This was cool. I'm sorry to say, it blows away anything out today. This was what it was all about. Damn, this was so cool. Bubblegum Crisis. They're better videos than what I got. I got tons of more stuff in here, but I won't bore you anymore. So, I got tons of more stuff. So, it's crazy. It's crazy seeing this old stuff. Anyways, thanks for watching.